Your trash can has a smell that will not leave no matter how many bags you swap out. You have scrubbed the inside of it twice this month. You have tried the spray that smells like fake ocean breeze. The smell comes right back by Wednesday. Somewhere in your bathroom, the grout between the tiles has gone from white to a dull gray you cannot scrub away with a toothbrush and a prayer. And in the cabinet under your kitchen sink, behind the half-empty bottles of cleaner you bought because the label promised something, there is a small box you have probably walked past 100 times without picking up. That box costs less than a cup of coffee from a drive-through window. It does more work than 4 of those bottles combined, and it has been sitting on shelves in hardware stores and grocery stores this whole time, mostly ignored. The part that ought to make you a little annoyed is this. The company that makes it has not changed the formula in over a century because it never needed fixing. What changed is that nobody is telling you what it can do anymore. By the end of what I am about to share, you are going to look at the inside of your house differently, and you are going to wonder why you spent good money replacing something that was sitting 2 feet away from you the whole time. I keep a home the way my mother kept hers and her mother before her, up in the hollow where store-bought cleaners were a luxury nobody could afford, and homemade solutions were simply what you used because you had nothing else. I have scrubbed pots blackened from the wood stove, kept linens white through 3 generations of hard well water, and chased smells out of root cellars that would make a grown man back out the door. Borax has sat on my pantry shelf my whole life, long before anyone called it a hack. My grandmother used it to keep her kitchen running, and she never called it clever. She simply called it Tuesday, plain and simple. This kind of knowledge deserves to keep moving forward instead of dying out with the women who carried it. That is the whole reason I sit here and share it with you. If any of this saves you $1 or saves you a trip to the store for something you already had, go ahead and subscribe because there is plenty more where this came from, and I would love to have you stick around for it. Tell me in the comments where you keep your cleaning supplies and what is the one smell in your home you have never been able to fully get rid of, no matter what you tried. I read every single comment and I want to know what you are working with. Borax is a natural mineral, mined right out of the ground, made up of sodium, boron, oxygen, and water. It runs alkaline, which in plain words means it is the opposite of acidic, and that is the whole secret to why it works on so many things at once. Grease, odor, and grime are mostly acidic or oily in nature, and an alkaline mineral cuts straight through them the way nothing fruity or floral ever could. It does not cover a smell. It breaks down whatever is making the smell in the first place. That difference is everything, and once you understand that one fact, the rest of what I'm about to tell you will make perfect sense on its own. Here is the first trick, and it solves a problem nearly everyone in this country has sitting in their cabinet right now. Coffee mugs and teapots build up a brown ring inside that does not come out with dish soap no matter how hard you scrub. Fill the stained mug or pot with hot water, add 1 tablespoon of borax, stir it until it dissolves, and let it sit for 15 minutes. The stain lifts on its own, and you finish with a soft sponge wipe and a rinse. No scrubbing, no scratched glaze, no special pot cleaning paste from the store that costs $6 for 2 ounces. The second one tackles that trash can smell I mentioned at the start, the one that keeps coming back no matter what you spray on it. After you take the bag out, sprinkle 2 tablespoons of borax directly into the bottom of the empty can before you put the new bag in. It sits there quietly absorbing odor and moisture between bag changes instead of letting bacteria build up in whatever residue is left behind. Do this every time you take the trash out, and within 2 weeks, the smell that used to greet you the moment you open the lid is simply gone. The smell is not just masked, it is truly neutral. It is completely and totally gone. The third one is for that gray grout I mentioned, the kind that makes an otherwise clean bathroom look tired. Mix borax with a small amount of water until it forms a thick paste, about the consistency of toothpaste, and work it into the grout lines with an old toothbrush. Let it sit for 10 minutes so it has time to break down what has settled into the grooves, then scrub and rinse. White grout that has gone gray over the years lifts back toward its original color, and you did it with 2 ingredients that together cost less than 1 bottle of grout cleaner that promises the same thing in a much smaller amount. What I have shared with you so far is only the beginning of what this one box can do around a home, and the next part of what I have for you gets into the laundry room, where Borax does some of its quietest and most stubborn work. Your washing machine has been running the same cycle for years, and somewhere along the way, a smell crept into your towels and shirts that fabric softener cannot fully erase. You have switched detergents twice. You have tried the kind that claims to be extra strength. The smell fades for a wash or two and then comes right back, especially in towels and gym clothes that sit damp longer than they should. The fourth hack handles exactly that. Add half a cup of borax to the washing machine drum along with your regular detergent right before you start the load. Borax softens hard water minerals, lifts deep-set sweat and body oil that detergent alone leaves behind, and boosts the cleaning power of whatever soap you are already using without you having to buy a stronger or more expensive brand. Clothes that have started to smell faintly sour even right after washing come out of the dryer actually clean, not just freshly scented. Run it once a week on your towels and gym clothes, and the difference shows up within the first 2 loads. The 5th one moves into glassware that has gone cloudy. Vases, mason jars, and drinking glasses left sitting with hard water build up a dull film that no amount of dish soap seems to touch. Fill the glass with warm water, stir in 2 tablespoons of borax, and let it soak overnight. In the morning, rinse it clean, and the cloudiness that built up over months disappears in a single soak. My mother kept her canning jars sparkling with nothing but this, going back to a time when a clean jar meant the difference between food that lasted the winter and food that spoiled before the first hard freeze. The 6th hack moves outside the kitchen and into a problem nearly every homeowner in this country deals with sooner or later. Ants and roaches do not announce themselves until you have already got a line of them marching across your counter or your baseboard. Sprinkle a thin line of dry borax along baseboards behind and underneath the refrigerator, behind the stove, and along the edges of cabinets where pests travel. Borax works on insects by damaging their outer shell and disrupting their digestion when they walk through it and groom themselves afterward. It is slower than a spray, and I want to be straight with you about that part because honesty matters more to me than sounding impressive. It will not wipe out a heavy, established infestation overnight the way a professional treatment might. What it does well is deter the early scouts before they turn into a full colony, and it keeps working quietly day after day instead of losing its strength after one application like most sprays do. I need to be plain with you about a few other things too, because a tool this useful deserves honest handling. Borax is not something to leave anywhere a small child or a pet could reach it, and it should never be swallowed or used near food directly. Keep it in sealed containers, label it clearly, and use it in the same thoughtful way you would any cleaning product, not as something to be careless with simply because it comes from the ground instead of a factory. It also is not gentle on natural stone surfaces like marble or granite, so keep it off your countertops if that is what you have, and stick to tile, porcelain, and sealed surfaces instead. The 7th hack tackles the inside of your oven, which builds up baked-on grease that regular spray cleaners struggle against without filling your kitchen with fumes. Mix borax with a small amount of water into a thick paste and spread it across the inside walls and the bottom of the oven, avoiding the heating elements. The grease that has hardened over weeks of cooking loosens and wipes away without the harsh smell that comes with most commercial oven cleaners. The grease that has hardened over weeks of cooking loosens and wipes away without the harsh smell that comes with most commercial oven cleaners. The 8th one fixes spotty glassware coming out of the dishwasher, the kind that leaves your wine glasses and drinking glasses looking cloudy even after a full cycle. Add 2 tablespoons of borax directly to the bottom of your dishwasher along with your regular detergent before running a normal cycle. The mineral content in most tap water leaves spots behind on glass, and borax counters that buildup the same way it does in a hand-washed jar, only this time it is doing the work for your entire load at once. That brings the laundry room and the kitchen up to 8 hacks total, and what is waiting in the next part takes this same small box into the bigger picture of why nobody bothered telling you about any of it. A box of borax costs around $4 and lasts for months of regular use around a home. A specialty hard water cleaner, a name brand pest deterrent, and a fabric booster sold separately can run you $30 or more combined, and you would burn through all three faster than you would burn through one box of borax doing the same jobs. It is not that anyone sat in a boardroom plotting to keep this from you. It is simpler than that, and in some ways it is worse. A mineral that costs $4 and lasts for months does not get marketing budgets behind it. Nobody profits from reminding you it exists, so it quietly fell out of conversation while shelves filled up with narrower products that each do one small piece of what this single box already does on its own. That is the part I want you to sit with for a moment because it changes how you look at your own cabinet. The old way was never primitive. It was simply not profitable to keep telling people about it, and so the knowledge stopped getting passed down the way it once was. Kitchen to kitchen, mother to daughter, for one plain reason. There was no money in passing it down. The ninth hack speaks straight to that kind of forgotten value. White linens, tablecloths, and even white t-shirts that have gone yellow with age do not need to be thrown out. Fill a basin or your bathtub with hot water, dissolve a full cup of borax into it, and let the fabric soak for several hours or overnight. The yellowing that built up over years of washing and storage lifts out, and the fabric comes back closer to the white it started as. My grandmother kept her good linens this way for decades, pulling them out for holidays looking nearly as bright as the day she got them without a single trip to a dry cleaner. The 10th hack moves to the floor under your feet. Sticky kitchen floors that stay tacky even after mopping usually mean residue is building up. Add half a cup of borax to a full bucket of warm mop water instead of your usual floor cleaner. It cuts through grease and grime without leaving anything sticky behind, and your floor actually feels clean under bare feet instead of just looking clean from across the room. The 11th hack handles a problem nearly every household with hard water knows by heart, the stubborn ring that forms inside the toilet bowl no matter how often you scrub it. Sprinkle 1 cup of borax around the inside of the bowl before bed, let it sit overnight, and scrub with the toilet brush in the morning before flushing. The mineral deposits that built up over weeks loosen overnight instead of fighting you in a 5-minute scrub session, and the ring that kept coming back finally lifts for good. The 12th hack brings borax into the closet and the dresser drawer. Fill small cloth bags or cut squares of cheesecloth, tie them off, and tuck 2 tablespoons of borax inside each one. Then tuck the little sachets into closets, drawers, and musty corners of a basement or garage. Borax draws in moisture and the mildew smell that comes with it, working the same quiet way it does in your trash can, only now it is protecting your clothes and linens from the damp instead of your kitchen from odor. The 13th hack tackles the shower, where soap, scum, and grime build up on tile and glass faster than most people realize until it has gone gray and stubborn. Mix borax into a thick paste with a small amount of water, spread it across the shower walls, tile, and glass, and let it sit for 10 minutes before scrubbing with a sponge and rinsing clean. The scum that built up over weeks lifts away in one pass, leaving the glass clear and the tile bright again without the chemical sting that comes with most bathroom sprays. I think back to a particular evening in our kitchen, my mother standing over a basin of linens soaking in borax water, while my grandmother sat at the table mending something by lamplight, the two of them talking quietly about nothing in particular while the house smelled like clean cotton and wood smoke. Nobody in that kitchen would have called what they were doing a hack or a trick. It was simply how a home got kept, passed from one set of hands to the next, without a single store-bought product crossing the doorstep. I carry that with me every time I reach for that same box now, and I think it is worth carrying forward. 13 hacks are behind us now, and the final 3 waiting in the last part take this same small box outside the house entirely into places most people never think to bring it. Your garbage disposal has a smell that drifts up into the kitchen every time you run water down the sink, even after you have ground up a lemon peel or 2 trying to mask it. Grease and food particles cling to the blades and the inside of the unit in a way citrus alone cannot fully clear out. The 14th hack handles it directly. Pour half a cup of borax down the disposal, let it sit for 15 minutes without running any water, then flush it through with hot water while running the disposal. The grease that has been clinging to the blades and the housing breaks down and clears out, and the smell that kept drifting up into your kitchen goes with it. The 15th hack steps outside entirely onto the patio furniture that has sat through a season of rain and humidity and picked up a layer of green mildew along every seam and crevice. Mix borax with warm water into a paste, scrub it into the mildewed spots on plastic, metal, or sealed wood furniture with a stiff brush, let it sit for 10 minutes, and rinse thoroughly with a hose. The mildew that built up over months of damp weather lifts away, and the surface comes back to something close to what it looked like the day you bought it, without the harsh fumes of a bleach-based outdoor cleaner. The 16th and final hack belongs in the garage or the shed, two spaces that pests find their way into long before anyone notices. Sprinkle dry borax along the base of the walls, around door thresholds, and into corners where boxes and tools sit undisturbed for weeks at a time. Ants and silverfish that have been quietly working their way into stored boxes and forgotten corners start steering clear of the treated areas within days, and a fresh sprinkle every few weeks keeps that protection going through the seasons when those pests are most active. That brings the full count to 16. Every one of them pulled from a single small box that costs less than most people spend on a single bottle of name brand cleaner. The habit that ties all of it together is a simple one. Keep one jar of borax under the kitchen sink and a second one in the laundry room, refill them when they run low, and reach for them before you reach for anything else. A clean trash can, clear glassware, fresh-smelling closets, a disposal that does not stink, a shower without scum, and a perimeter pests think twice about crossing, all from the same box, all for less than the cost of one specialty cleaner. Here's what I want you to do this week. Pick up one box of borax from the hardware store or the cleaning aisle of your grocery store and start with whichever problem has been bothering you the longest in your own home, whether that is the trash can, the grout, the shower glass, or that disposal smell you have been pretending not to notice. You do not need all 16 at once. You need the one that has been quietly annoying you, and you need to finally do something about it. This kind of knowledge stays alive when it gets passed along instead of forgotten, and that is exactly why I keep this channel going. If even one of these 16 saved you a trip to the store or a few dollars you would rather keep, go ahead and subscribe, because there is a great deal more of this old practical knowledge still to share, and I would love for you to be here for the next one. Tell me in the comments which of these 16 you are trying first and which corner of your home you are most tired of fighting with. I read every single comment and I genuinely want to know what you are dealing with. The next thing I want to walk you through is what white vinegar can do for a home, a quiet partner to everything borax handles, and together the two of them cover almost everything a modern household reaches for a store-bought product to fix. Keep that box of borax close. Use it the way the women before us did, with a little patience and a clear understanding of what it is doing, and your home will hold on to that care a great deal longer than any spray ever could.